My fiancée left me for her cousin on her birthday. At her birthday dinner, my fiancée Caitlin stood up in front of both our families. She said, "I'm in love with Nolan." Everyone went dead silent. Her mom dropped her wine glass, and it shattered everywhere. Nolan was sitting right there at the table, her first cousin. She continued, "We've been together 6 months. 6 months while I was planning our wedding and buying our house." They walked out together holding hands. I still had the anniversary gift in my pocket. The next morning, she posted photos from Nolan's apartment with the caption, "Finally living my truth." I had to call 200 wedding guests by myself, had to cancel everything and eat $40,000 in deposits. The humiliation was crushing, but it turned into something else. Pure motivation. I started at the bank as a teller and worked every overtime shift they offered. Studied for licensing exams during lunch breaks and passed everything first try. Made loan processor in 6 months and junior loan officer by year 2. While I was climbing, Caitlin's family disowned her for dating her cousin. Nolan's parents cut him off completely and told everyone he was dead to them. They got evicted from their first apartment for non-payment, then their second apartment, then their third. Someone sent me their wedding photo. It was just 10 people in someone's backyard, and she wore a thrift store dress. By year 3, I was senior loan officer. That's when their mortgage application landed on my desk. Caitlin and Nolan Brennan needed a home because she was 7 months pregnant. They had absolutely no idea who their loan officer was. Their application painted the whole pathetic picture. 6 banks had already rejected them, and their credit score was in the 400s. 5 different addresses in 3 years. Nolan made minimum wage at a warehouse, and Caitlin worked part-time retail. The house they wanted was the cheapest listing in our entire database. It was 40 minutes outside the city and had no other offers in 8 months. They'd scraped together $3,000 by borrowing from the few friends still speaking to them. They sold their car. Her original engagement ring was pawned too. The one I'd saved 3 years for. The one she used to flash around. Now it was pawned for rent money. They needed someone to overlook their disasters and give them a chance. That someone turned out to be me. My assistant knocked and said, "The Brennans are here for their appointment." Through the glass, I could see them waiting. Caitlin was heavily pregnant, and Nolan wore the same suit from her birthday dinner, but now it was frayed at the edges. They were holding hands and looked absolutely desperate. They had no idea they were about to walk into my office. I said, "Send them in." Nolan entered first. He saw me and stopped completely. His face drained of all color. Caitlin bumped into him until she saw me too. Her hand flew to her mouth. She whispered, "Oh God." Nolan turned to leave, but I stopped him. "If you walk out, your application gets denied, and you'll be blacklisted from every bank," I said. They had no choice but to sit down. My office showed everything I'd achieved without them. Banking awards covered the walls and leather furniture filled the space. Success they'd never have. I opened their file and said, "Your credit score is 421. 3 evictions. No permanent address." Caitlin's eyes filled with tears. She said, "We're staying with friends." I responded, "The few who still talk to you." She physically flinched at that. "Let's review why 6 banks said no," I continued. I went through every late payment and collection notice, every single consequence of their choice. "You pawned an engagement ring last month for $900, I said. "That ring cost me $8,000, 3 months of saving." Caitlin was crying now. "The baby needs a home, please," she whispered. I looked at their application and their pathetic down payment, looked at what their love had accomplished. "You barely qualify. The debt-to-income ratio is right at the limit," I said slowly. They held their breath waiting. "But I'm going to approve this loan," I finished. They stared at me in shock. Nolan asked, "Why?" I stood up and said, "Because I'm professional, and everyone deserves a chance to start over, even people who didn't give me one." Caitlin sobbed and said, "Leaving you was the biggest mistake." I cut her off. "It was the best thing that ever happened to me."